looks like you're lost. Are we lost? Not really. Okay, that means yes. Not really means yes. Alright. I explained in the beginning when we were about to pray that particular prayer that there are three kinds of men. So we have the unled man, we have the led man, the spiritual man, who is doing what God says day by day, even when society and environment is saying to do the contrary, right? That man can see what others cannot see. Do you understand? Is that kind of man that God can come to and say, "Who's money here?" And he will hear. According to financial analysis and economic analysis and market surveys and research and all of that stuff, it's a bad business decision. But that kind of man will hear God say, "Do this." Does that sound strange? Remember Isaac? It was a year of famine. He was about to take off to Egypt because there were better conditions there. According to all the analysis from Harvard School of Business, from London School of Business, they say, if you want to survive, you must migrate. People are migrating now. You know what's happening in the country? A lot of people are fleeing. I was at the embassy the other day as early as between 7:30 and 8. At least I was there before 8 o'clock. The place was full. I had to stand for a while for someone to get up, to be attended to, so I could sit down. At that time, what I'm saying to you is that not every Christian is in this place. This is, the secret sector exists to the extent that, or rather, we can perceive it to the extent that the government of God is ruling over our lives. For us to benefit from that economy, the government of God has to be a permanent feature in our lives. It has to be the status quo, the way to live life. Alright? So the majority of people, world people, plus Christian people, plus everybody else, they are here. That's what I'm saying to you. So really, the status is not different for Christians, as it were. Going by this, it's not different. They suffer the same fate as princes are walking on foot, and servants are on horseback. You know why? Because princes are not in the secret sector. So they can be enslaved. They are not under the covering, the protection, and the commonwealth of this secret economy, which is original in the economy. That was the goal for which they were brought into the kingdom of God. It's so that now they come to the kingdom of God, let the kingdom of heaven rule over you. Don't just be a church person. Be a participant, be a chartered member. Alright? Do you get the difference? Okay. The realms of earth, everyone is just here, but a few people have found themselves in this intersection. A few people have found themselves here, in this secret sector. And they are the ones that are benefiting from it. Spiritually, materially, financially, in every wise. They are in that place, and even when things get tough sometimes, because as long as you're on earth, but you see the glory of God radiating in them, you know that they are seeing something else that you can, and then they are not seeing it. And you're wondering, how can this person be going through this type of challenges? Alright? Because Jesus said, in this world you shall have what? Tribulations. They will come. This is not a gospel of if you get into this secret sector, everything shall become perfect. No. I'm telling you that there is a secret economy, a secret sector that you can not only sustain, but you can get abundance and exponential profit. But that doesn't cancel out the reality of the tribulations that we face as believers on earth. But, however, when those times come, because of the insulation, the insurance that exists within this economy, your soul is preserved. Your spirit is preserved until that time passes. And then you shine again. Look at Job. One of the wealthiest men in the world in his day. Greatest man in the East, but he had challenges. He had a very terrible time. But his disposition did not shift in that time. He said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. I know my Redeemer liveth. It's only someone who has seen something. And if you check Job 29, you will see some of the things that they are experiencing when the light of God shined upon my head. And the secret of God was in my tabernacle as in the days of my youth. He said a lot of things that made us know that, oh my, this guy has enjoyed something that he can make reference to in the days of disaster. So when that storm passed, he got everything back. What? Double. He got it back. But most importantly, when the storm was raging, he didn't lose the most precious thing of all that he had, which was his communion and his fellowship. This was not relationship. We have gone beyond relationship. He didn't lose his communion and his fellowship with God. He stayed there. Even under pressure from his wife. Alright? The secret sector and the enlightened righteous. If there's any place you want to be in the coming days, it's to be in the secret sector. Stay there. That's the purpose of what we are doing with the Kingdom Economy Network. Because if God's purposes on earth as touching the mountains of culture will be achieved, he will use led men, he will use spiritual men, he will have to use us that have presented ourselves to do this. And the more of us he finds to use, the faster this work gets done. The more results we see across the globe. Are we together? Is there understanding now? This is about describing the map. Proverbs chapter 2 verse 6. For the Lord giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. It is the Lord who speaks, guiding his own faithful through wisdom. That's the principal thing in the secret sector. The expression of the spirit of wisdom. That's something most people don't have. There's a lot of worldly wisdom, demonic wisdom. We'll come to those different types and dimensions much later as the Lord pleases. But you see, godly, skillful and godly wisdom. Daniel's skill was not just about spiritual matters. Administration, he was there. He was at the top of government. He knew what to do on governmental matters, on economic issues, on day-to-day matters that confused even the king. So this is not just about being relevant in the house of God. Economically relevant. This is the focus of Tiken. And that's why we are addressing career professionals and entrepreneurs. The wisdom here is skillful and it is godly wisdom. Unfortunately for the peddlers of worldly and demonic wisdom in our day, the real goods are concealed in the redemptive aspect of God, but are released in the ruler dimension. What I'm saying is that the real goods, the real thing, to summarize everything I've said so far, is stored in that ruler dimension where God has rulership over your spirit, where you put yourself under pressure to obey. We have passed seed time and harvest time. Anybody that is in that economy now, they will be frustrated to the point where it will become a likable choice for them to follow the ways and the methods of the world, because we are not under that economy. The economy that we're operating is the economy of he that is willing and obedient. He shall what? Shall eat the good of the land. Have you seen that in your scripture? Because that speaks of government. Isaiah 1:19. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. That's the condition that we operate under in the kingdom of heaven. There must be a willingness and an obedience. You will always be faced with a choice. God will not force you to take his option. You can choose to go with what the experts are saying. Yeah, God will not force any kingdom person. It will always come down to your choice and your decision. That's why he says, if you be willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. It will happen as a consequence. Even if the land is going through a situation, it will produce the good for you on account of a condition that you have fulfilled in being willing and obedient. During a recession time like this, before it hits hard, instructions come. A lot of things that God will be saying. A lot of Christians will not take cognizance of that or be willing to accept it, let alone obey it, because in their hearts, that's not an expert opinion. It doesn't make sense. And that's why that consequence we just saw will happen to them. It's not because God wishes it so, but he has given you the power of choice. Then he says, choose life. We need to be enlightened. Let me wrap this up. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. The sign that you have a good understanding, that your understanding is not faulty, that something is not wrong with you upstairs, is that you do the commandments of God. That's not me, that's scripture. We just read it. He said, a good understanding have they that keep his commandments. So in keeping God's commandments, it shows that you're okay. Are you okay? It says his praise endureth forever. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So God brings something. That thing that he brings before a recession hits, that he brings to you day by day. He tells you, don't look, don't do this, don't touch this, don't get involved, don't call this person, don't. There are so many instructions that come. And he says that the name of that thing I'm saying to you is called wisdom and instruction. We are the ones that give it another name and say that it doesn't make sense. But God, what God has called wisdom and instruction, who are we to give it another name? So you see why society is the way it is today. It's not dead men that are the problem. It's unled men. Psalms 25 verse 14. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will shew them his covenant. In times like this, there are many covenants that God comes to show. Covenants he has established, he comes to show. Those he has not established with you on a personal basis, he comes to establish them and reveal them to you. So encounters will come in this season, just like he did for Isaac. On account of the covenant that was speaking in his life, God came to him and said, this decision you're about to make, don't make it. Stay in the land. And he was willing and he obeyed. Did he eat the good of the land? Oh, absolutely. 100-fold in a famine. This is a historical fact. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him. 3 things principally that distinguish these people who are in the secret sector is righteousness, the fear of the Lord, and wisdom. The fear of the Lord qualifies a person for entry into wisdom. You must have that reverence for God, worshipful reverence, and let it be part of your prayer of the things that God needs to help you is to fear him. So God releases his secrets as wisdom. It comes with those words, those speakings. The secret sector is a constantly shifting dimension of profit. This sector is not the same across economies. This particular intersection is not the same across economies. Different things may trigger it in different economic contexts. Are you following? It's not the same. It may happen in a particular pattern within some seasons. When the next cycle comes, it will happen in a different pattern. Now, I'm speaking of the secret sector as a specific thing that's happening within the context of time. Now, there's a recession that is about to hit. And God is getting people into specific dimensions of the secret sector that can insulate us, insure us, and increase us within this period. It's a constantly shifting dimension of profit. Different things can be opening in different times. Sometimes it may be the agri sector suddenly opening up. Sometimes it's the money market that's opening up. There was a time IT opened up. There was a boom of IT across the globe, right? And then there was another time that there was a boom of developers. It was like everywhere everybody wanted to be a coder, a developer. There was a time when it was oil and gas. When was the last time you met someone that said they wanted to work in an oil company? That's the specific angle of the secret sector. There's always a wave that comes, an avenue for wealth transfer. It's different in different times and in different seasons. There was a time when it was transport. It was like every other day there was a transport company opening up. There are different waves that come like that. And it takes the Spirit of God to tell you, do this. Some things may be very uncanny. For some people, it's tomatoes.